Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here. We're gonna do it again. That's right. It's our long Survivor winter has ended. Survivor 46 is here, and we are going to talk about everything we know here at this hour with a man who knows all there is to know about Survivor 46. Give it up for Mike Bloom.
She's turning some 40 tricks for 46.
Oh my
Here we
God.
are, Rob.
Oh my God.
Survivor 46, it's arrived. It's not been long. It's been about, like a month and change since the end of season 45. But yes, we've woken up from our long winter's nap and spring has come early.
Yes. Okay. Are you the groundhog? Did you see your shadow?
I mean, not today. Is that an issue?
Okay, well, I don't know. Sometimes like we get a longer Survivor winter and a shorter one, but here we are. What's today? February 5th, and then
February
we are
5th.
headed careening towards a Survivor premiere on the February 28th. So
Yes.
3 weeks from Wednesday.
3 weeks from Wednesday, and we have a group to get into, and a very personal group to me, Rob, because not only did I get the chance to talk to this group before going out to play for the first time in 4 years, I was in the room where it happens. I got the chance to fly out to Fiji and sit down with the castaways themselves. I got to witness the premiere that we're going to be seeing in a few weeks' time, and if any amount of what I got to witness over that period, both preseason and the first episode, is brought to life in front of our very eyes, we are in for a very fun time.
Okay. All right. So this is incredible. Mike Bloom has been to Fiji and back. Hopefully can share some details of what he saw out there as Mike collected interviews with all of the players before the season started. And the great news is that you all will have a chance to watch them as they begin dropping starting tomorrow.
Yes, Rob, I guess to sort of quote our adjoining Survivor franchises that are going on at the same time, this season, we're doing things a little different with our preseason coverage. You want to explain a little bit of that?
Yes, I'm just trying to go back to your adjoining coverage. Is this a reference to you being a podcasting rebel?
Well, yeah, I think I'm more so the Titan, personally. I think
Yes.
now, officially, I've gone to Fiji, I've sat down. I don't think I can necessarily say I was a rebel. Am I a rebel against an NDA? I'm not entirely sure. That might be the most rebellious I've gotten.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about all 18 people, some just brief announcements of what we have in store. We'll take a look through the slideshow and Mike will give just some first impressions. And then starting tomorrow, it'll be like NFL training camp, 2-a-days start tomorrow. So for 9 days, we will bring you one podcast with 2 preseason interviews. We will also be dropping those 2 interviews on our YouTube channel. So over this 9-day series starting tomorrow, we will be dropping the 9-part Survivor 46 cast preview 2-a-days. We'll be doing Tuesday through Friday. Take the weekend off. It's the Super Bowl. People have plans. Then we'll come back, do all 5 weekdays of next week, as you'll get to hear Mike's supersized interviews with the contestants. Most of these probably in the range of about 25 minutes with Mike Bloom.
Yeah, so that was one reason why we decided to do this. These will be organized by tribe. So we're going to go 2 by 2 through each of the 3 tribes. And throughout that, Rob and I are going to give our commentary and sort of break down what we assess the tribe dynamics to be based on that. But suffice it to say, due to being able to be on the island and talking with them, yeah, these interviews range from 20 to sometimes 30 minutes. They are chonky boys. And so we decided, okay, let's pace them out to 2 a day. The videos will be up there. I was able to take a camera down there to actually film these players as well as they're talking to me. So there are various mediums that these interviews will be available, which makes me incredibly excited. And if you want to check out our commentary on it as well, that'll be in the podcast version.
Yeah. So, like what we've done in the past, where Mike had talked to people on Zoom and then we listened in on those together, we're going to do it a little bit different. On the podcast version, Mike's going to set up the interview with me. We will listen uninterrupted to Mike's interview with the Survivor contestants, and then we'll come back afterwards and I'll weigh in with what I thought. Mike will provide some additional commentary. On YouTube, we are just posting Mike's interviews with the survivors. So, two different ways to experience the journey of the Survivor 46 preseason. But we've recorded some of these preseason interviews already. It's a very fun cast. Really looking forward to talking about it all with you.
Yeah, I am super excited. As I was going through these interviews again, I got to fly out there and talk with them late May, early June. They flew out 2 days after the finale of Survivor 44. So it's been a long time, and just getting to bring those feelings back up of just pure energy. I am so excited for this cast. Dalton Ross called this one of the most fun groups of castaways he's ever had the chance of interviewing, and I don't necessarily disagree. Something I would sort of blanket assess over this cast is quirky, not nerdy, is how I would
Okay.
describe the cast of Survivor 46. I think you look at the cast of like Survivor 44 and 45 in particular, there was a lot of brouhaha around like
Bruce
all
haha, even.
Bruce haha. I mean, quite literally, those were his 2 seasons. No
Katora
Bruce
wasn't
to be
always saying
seen.
Bruce
Spoiler
haha.
alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, in season 46, maybe Bruce at haha at Bruce, less so with Bruce. But there was certainly a lot of takes of like, well, all these skinny guys with glasses, they all look the same. Why do they keep casting these people on Survivor? Now, granted, there are a couple of like out and out nerds on Survivor. They make that much known to me. But I think getting to look at the cast and especially getting to talk with them, this cast is a lot of personality. And I think
Yeah.
the personality.
Nice job, Internet. You bullied all the nerds off Survivor. Way to go.
Well, listen, Survivor's a lot like high school. The nerds get bullied. They got stuffed in those lockers for this season. And so as a result, we have a.
Hasn't Brandon Donlin been through enough? You people, you monsters.
Yes, we're not getting into a Brandon, by the way. Drop the B, kill the Randon. That's the holdover we're getting between these seasons. But this
Is it
is
Randon
a
or
very.
Rando?
We had a Brandon and a Brando, so we dropped the N first. Now we're dropping the B. We're just experimenting with the Brandon title.
Drop the B, keep the Randon.
Yeah, so among that, some of the most interestingly named Survivor contestants we have ever seen, some unique ones, some firsts, some players from areas that we have not seen in a very
Okay.
long time. I will say overall, one of the most unique casts I think I've ever encountered.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're very much looking forward to getting to meet them all. We will do so here today, but first, can I make an announcement too?
Rob, absolutely. Listen, this is the time period to make announcements. Should we call ourselves the Tortured Pods Department?
Yes, we're very tortured podcasters, but we do it anyway to make our art. Okay. All right. So, Mike, we have some big news because that we are going to be taking the podcast on the road only but once this season.
Mm.
You know what? Instead of and spreading ourselves thin, I am dedicated to making the podcast as great as it can be. I promise you that. So I'm only going to leave the podcast studio once this season. And that one time is going to be to go back to a place where we've never done the live show. We're coming to Chicago.
Bitch, we're in Chicago.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, May 8th at the Athenaeum Theater. Tickets are going to go on sale for the patrons next week. And then for everybody else, if there's any tickets left, I'm going to put them on sale probably around the time the season starts. So be on the lookout. RHAP is coming to Chicago May 8th. One night only. Be there or not.
Those are literally the two options.
Those are the two options. Oh, Chicago's not good for you? Okay. See you whenever. All right.
There we go. That's super exciting. May 8th, it'll be close to the end, probably the anti-penultimate or maybe even penultimate episode of
The
this
Athenaeum,
season.
it's called, Mike. That's the theater.
Ah, there we go. So yes, the game should be getting super spicy if it's not already. Not Spicer, which is one of the contestants this season.
Okay. All right, Mike. So we're going to take a quick look, some first impressions of these 18 players. Really, we have, as far as you know, correct? There's nothing new about the season. We haven't heard anything about the game. Survivor has really gone all in on this cast. The lead up to this point was all about their audition videos. Now it's like, okay, opening night unveiled. These are the actual pictures of the 18 people.
And good God, they are gorgeous. I think we really lucked out with the weather when all of this was happening. But yeah, it was the sunrise right over these rocks. Like, this is one of the best cast photos I have ever seen. So some stuff that I will throw out there from a logistics perspective, because last season ushered in almost a new era within.
Usher.
No,
Are we
yeah.
ready for Sunday already?
Listen, I got it on the brain.
Yeah.
I have to stick with the corporate synergy. We are talking of climbing the Paramount Mountain right now.
Yes.
Maybe we'll talk about that
I bet
later.
there'll be some Survivor stuff during the Super Bowl.
Oh, I would absolutely imagine so. So I guess the question is, who's going to make it and what's going to make it?
It was 20 years ago this week that Survivor last premiered after the Super Bowl.
Featuring your lovely face.
That's right.
So we know last season Survivor ushered in 90-minute episodes. This was partially due to fill the hole from the writer strike, and to say it went over like gangbusters would be an understatement. I still think it's one of the best decisions the network has ever made. It gave so much room for these episodes to breathe, to give us more character time, to throw in more things like the auction, allowed that to return. The good news is we're going to keep on keeping on. Survivor 46. And even more so, the first 2 episodes, Rob, not only the premiere, but episode 2 will be 2 hours apiece.
Wow.
Then all other episodes before the finale will be 90 minutes long.
Okay. This is a very long Survivor season.
Yeah. For arguably one of the shortest Survivor seasons in the show's history. Now, something I do
What if we take the days away, but we make the episodes really long?
This is
getting closer to real time.
Yeah, it's the ultimate test of the theory of relativity. Isn't that, maybe that's ultimately what they want to come across. It's like they just want to produce 26 days equivalent in Survivor content by the time they reach like season 100 or something. Now,
we get it down to it's 3 days, but it's live.
I mean, then it's just like the Venn diagram of Survivor and Big Brother is a circle at that point. Yeah. So something I should mention though, and this was brought up by Dalton Ross back when the 90-minute episodes were announced. I will have the chance to talk with Jeff Probst in a little bit, so I will corroborate this with him. So I believe Survivor 45 was expressly produced with 90-minute episodes in mind. I don't think 90-minute episodes were guaranteed when Survivor 46 was being produced. So I do not believe it will utilize the same structure as 45. Now, what does that entail? I'm not sure. Will there be certain things that got added in to sort of like pad out the episodes that will now be removed for 46? Most likely. Again, I might be able to get a more concrete answer from Jeff in the coming days, but I would say there's a good chance that these 90-minute episodes might be less of like, okay, let's add in, treasure hunts and all these activities, and maybe more so lots more camp scenes.
Isn't that the best of all worlds though, Mike? Isn't that like what people want, where people say like, don't program the extra half hour of the show, just show us what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, yes. And given the makeup of this cast, I do think we want to devote as much time to these personalities as possible. So again, I'm sort of saying this with a grain of salt. We'll see if Jeff is able to corroborate any of that later on, but we can certainly expect these extended run times to stick around for the time being. But otherwise, yeah, to your point, sixth verse, same as the first. This is 3 tribes, 18 castaways. Now, we did see a full tribe swap last time. We'll see if that's taken in, but seems to be, from what I experienced, the usual start that you're to expect from the new era.
Okay. All right. Mike, should we talk about our 18 players?
Absolutely. We'll talk about them by tribe. So the tribes were not like officially announced and pictured, but I did get clearance from CBS to announce these tribes' names and who is in each of them.
Okay. All right. Mike, what do we got?
All right, well, let's start with not you, Rob, but Nami. Nami
Hmm.
is the first tribe from Survivor
Okay.
46. Apparently, I didn't even realize this in like
And the
the.
Namis are.
And the Namis are, yes, a lot of talk about Namis over the past couple weeks. And also, I
Hmm.
believe Nami is an anime character from One Piece who also has orange hair. So maybe there's just a
Oh,
really devoted anime fan in Survivor production.
are they the Orange Tribe?
They are the Orange Tribe.
Yes. Okay. All right.
So, shall we get into it? Do we have a slideshow, Rob, to
Yeah, let's
present?
go for it. Okay, here you go. Here's the first guy.
All right, so
Oh, first Survivor Hunter since Survivor Marquesas.
there we go, and maybe fitting to be the leader of this tribe, though hopefully Nami will end up doing a better job than Mataamu. So we're starting with arguably the biggest, from a stature perspective, player of this season. This is Hunter McKnight. Hunter is 28 from French Camp, Mississippi. And yes, Rob, we have not one, but two contestants from Mississippi this season. First contestants from Mississippi since you're talking 20-year anniversaries since Dara, the Mortician. So
Wow.
finally going back to the map on that one. Hunter went to medical school, was on a path to become a doctor, and then just ended up sort of leaving that behind and found his way into teaching. He is a science teacher, but this is far from his first time in the Survivor foray because Rob Hunter likes to run Survivor seasons for his students.
Okay, and what science is that?
Well, this is more so something on the side. He actually does it as a bit of like a summer activity before the season.
He
But
has a
like,
PhD in Brant Steel?
I mean, if that's the case, like, where's my degree? Let me put that on the wall behind me. But Hunter, he builds the challenges, he runs tribal council. So we shall see if he can walk that walk.
Okay. All right. Excited to see I wasn't getting that from his picture. This is
Yeah.
somebody that we haven't talked about yet in any of our other conversations.
Yeah, he's got a lot to him. He calls himself a mix of JT and Tyson, and honestly, I see it by the end of my talk with him.
Wow, JT and Tight. So Steven just totally got snubbed.
Well, again, the nerds are getting shoved in the locker, Rob.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, all right, there's Hunter.
All right, next up, we have Liz Wilcox. So
Okay.
Liz is 35 years old. She is from Orlando, Florida. She's currently based there, but she used to spend her life traveling around in an RV writing blog posts.
Van life?
Yeah, basically. But then she has left the van. She has left her husband. She's a divorced single mom. And now she's a marketing strategist who runs her own business, helping you with your email marketing.
Well, I could use that. She wasn't married to McCrae, right?
I mean, I didn't ask for the specific name.
I
I
meant
do.
Turner. Oh my God. I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
I mean, honestly, though, if you look at Liz, like you could probably find her in the same circles as Turner. She was not mega bussin' though. She was RVing.
I hope her game is an ass.
Yeah, so Liz is a really fun character. She comes into my interview with several Liz-isms as well as a complicated list of food allergies. Though she's not allergic to blindsides.
Yeah.
She's on the show in the first place because her 7-year-old daughter was watching Survivor and said, "I dare you to go on it." And here she is.
Wow, that's a dangerous game to play with the kids.
Well, she's not the only person to experience that, as we're about to get into.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Excited to see more from Liz Wilcox.
All right, well, let's move on here. It's the aforementioned, don't call me Brandon, Randon Montalvo. So Randon is 41 years old, also from Orlando, Florida, and the location is apt as Randon works in aerospace tech. He does structural mechanical fixes for jets and planes.
Okay. Now, why is that apt for Orlando?
Well, isn't Orlando like I feel like besides like near Cape Canaveral, like I feel like it's Houston and then it's Florida are the
Hmm.
major two states for aerospace tech.
Okay. Yeah. I got to look that up more from Randon.
So Randon, I mentioned Liz. Randon has surprisingly a similar origin story, but with a bit more trollish meanings behind it, where Randon's wife and children were watching the show, and they said, I think you'd be good for this. You probably will be the first boot, but you should probably go on the show anyway, to the point where they were in the process of me talking with him, already planning a first boot party for when he gets voted out and comes back home.
Did they think he would stink at the game and they tried
Yes.
to make him go do it as a prank?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Randon's family is hardcore. But it
I
might
might
be,
do something like that just to stick it to them. Like, "Oh, really? Oh, really? You think I'm gonna lose?
I
You think I'm
mean,
gonna be the first boot?"
and that's why you were a Survivor player. They want to bring on these types of people that will say, screw you, family.
Yeah.
I defy you.
No, you know what? That it's time for the dads to like take some action here because you know what? Honestly, if you asked my children and like my wife, like, so how do you think dad would do on Survivor? They're like, oh, he'd be terrible. He's an idiot. I blame Peppa Pig. It's always like, oh, the dad can't do anything. He's just a big idiot. He
That
probably would
damn
suck at
pig.
Survivor.
Daddy Pig is one of the worst stereotypes for fatherhood that
Right?
has ever existed.
Right?
That rotund boar can GTFO. Well,
Everybody's
Randon's
always clowning on dad in the family.
Well, Randon is about to bring a good name back to dads in the CBS Viacom umbrella, even though his wife did tell him that he's less likely to bring milk and cookies to someone. He looks more like he'd be able to kill a chicken, but
Mhm.
you need to kill chickens on Survivor. So maybe Randon has that sort of attitude. He come from a bit of a rough upbringing, so he has that tenacity to him. And he figures if he's able to overcome those initial few days, get past those few hurdles, then he can make a straight dash to the end.
Okay. All right. We'll find out more about Randon.
All right, coming up next, Rob,
Oh,
George Costanza's favorite Survivor contestant. It's Soda.
soda. Soda.
Sodasia,
Refreshing, effervescent.
completely agree, as is the personality of one Soda Thompson. Soda is 27 from Lake Hopatcong, New Jersey. She is a special ed teacher, and the vibes, Rob, are immaculate. She is just sunshine, a supernova contained in a person, very positive, very energetic, someone who didn't necessarily have a great childhood and is trying to provide the childhood that she couldn't have to her students, to her campers as well. But even though she has that on the outside, look out, because if you get too close to that sun, you could get burned.
Hmm. Just like real soda. Very dangerous. Very bad for you long term,
Exactly. The bubbles can
but
burn
very
your tongue
fun.
at any moment. Also, certainly in the hour plus that the cast has been out, one that has had one of the best bio answers of which survivor are you most likely to play like. And she just said, season 42.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, I love the move. Do a catch
Mhm.
all answer. Try to sum
It
up 18 people's personalities into one
was a great
body.
season. Yeah. I
I think
like it.
I could pick much worse seasons to base your entire personality on.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to learning more about soda.
All right. Check those nutrition facts on the soda. Next up, we have Tevin.
Tevin.
Tevin Davis. Tevin is 24 years old. He is originally from one of my favorite towns, Goochland, Virginia.
Goochland.
Goochland, Virginia, not Moochland. So luckily, Tevin is not going to be a mole, a temporary player here.
Mhm.
He's here to stay, much like the actual moles. He is a theater actor. He has a flair for the dramatic, much like Soda. He has this big, positive musical energy to him, this spirit that he's hoping will make him very underestimated. He's a little bit of like our small towner, has never been outside of the United States until this
Okay.
very trip, and he's hoping to make his, reason to get a passport a good one.
Yeah, he was a standout from the clip they showed at the end of Survivor 45 when he catches the buff, right? So that he's got a great photo too.
And speaking of catching something, doesn't he say like remain positive, test negative is his
That's yes.
catchphrase of choice?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Tevin is a lot of fun. I'm really excited for people to check out my interview with Tevin. Tevin's my winner pick. He was the
Whoa.
last person I talked to out there, and I just had such good vibes from him that I had to select him in that moment. And also so the people won't think I have my thumb on the scale and say that I'm spoiled in any way by watching the first episode already.
Okay. All right. Did you film yourself right after you met him? Say, this is my winner pick.
I'm holding up a copy of today's newspaper saying this is my winner pick.
That's what you should do in from Fiji next time. Do you ever tell them? You should tell them like, hey, you're my winner pick.
I mean, then I would just jinx them right off the bat. I'm already putting such stupid ideas in their head to begin with by asking them what soup they are and everything like that. I don't want to put any additional pressure on people by being like, by the way, I just spoke with you and I have everything riding on you, so please do well.
Yeah. Or you could tell them like, I'm not seeing it. I gotta be honest.
I mean, I could think of worse
like
ways to not get
Randon's
invited back to
family.
Fiji. Sure, Rob. Thank you. Really investing in you for my career longevity.
Yeah, just to shake it, but say it to everybody. That's one of your interview questions. Just to
So
see what their
should I just
reaction
throw
is.
out maybe I just should just throw away the questions and just say a bunch of stuff and see how they react. Really test their
Rattle the
skills.
cage a little bit, Mike. We gotta get Survivor, the new era. It's unpredictable.
Yeah, I should literally throw things at them and see how well they catch.
Maybe. All right. Who else is here?
All right, final member of the
Oh.
Nami tribe. It is the latest planet in our Survivor solar system, Venus. Venus Vafa. Venus is 24 years old as well. She is from Toronto. She is our single Canadian resident who is occupying that slot in our new era season. She is a data analyst, but she's actually aiming to go into immigration law because Venus is first generation. Her parents immigrated from Iran to Canada. And so she wants to help those like her parents. Venus is one of, I believe, only a couple of castaways of Persian descent as well. So she's hoping to represent.
Okay. Making a strong first impression.
Very much so. I think her photo is giving very much the most mother vibes. I know I'm speaking out of my ass here, but definitely selling it. Venus admits that she does give off a little bit of like a cold persona. Initially, she compares herself a bit to like Regina George from Mean Girls, but she is a secret softie. So hopefully it's one of those, Klondike bars that you can just crack into initially and get the sweet, sweet ice cream underneath.
Yes. Okay. Those melt very quickly.
I mean, depends on the environment you're in. In Fiji, absolutely.
Okay. Got to be careful. All right. That is Venus. All right. Nami tribe. A lot of personalities here.
A lot of personalities. Nami is, granted, again, this is a cast full of them, but I think Nami is definitely going to be the ones to look for in terms of airtime and potential train wreck.
Nami, not a normie among them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it really stands for.
Who could be normal? Not me.
All right, let's move on to our second tribe here. We're dealing with some new castaways, and they are as green as their buffs. It is the Siga tribe.
Siga tribe. Okay. Let's meet first member of the Siga tribe. Okay. Tell me about Ben.
Ben Katzman. So, Ben, he is 31 years old. He is from Miami, Florida. And believe it or not, Rob, Ben is basically Dewey Finn, Jack Black's character from School of Rock.
Yeah, a great film, School of Rock, very celebrated film.
Are you a fan?
Beloved film.
Yes, so Ben is hoping to be just as beloved. He is a former touring musician. He writes his own music. He's a guitar player, has toured all around the world, decided to sort of give up on the music business and became a teacher. So now he teaches kids how to shred, and he's trying to bring that shreditude to the island proper.
Yeah, Mike, I think you just have used shreditude like it's a normal word and did not give any context.
Yes, so Ben has every intention to use shred as his new Smurf. This man, to say he peppered my interview with the word shred would be an understatement. Certainly not over-seasoned, but that thing was tasting real shreddy by the end of it.
Yeah, he is a big character, Ben.
Very, very big character. You saw him a little bit in the 45 preview, and definitely what you see is what you get with Ben. Also one of the most uniquely dressed castaways with the overalls combined with the tiger shirt, both the eye and everything else contained therein.
Yes. So he is, I think, maybe the closest thing to a cartoon character in this season.
I would definitely say so, though again, you haven't met Nami, so you might have to hold your tongue there.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Okay. All right. That is Ben, Rocker Ben.
All right, next up we have Charlie. Charlie Davis. Charlie's a bit more pop to Ben's
Yeah.
rock because he is a huge Swiftie. Charlie is 26 years old from Boston, and he is a law student.
Yeah. Charlie's hair is really doing its thing here.
Yeah, I know that Nami is named after a One Piece character, but he has the most anime hair I've seen on a Survivor contestant.
Yeah. So, okay. Here comes Charlie.
Yeah, cheer up, Charlie. You have $1 million in your future, or at least he hopes so. Charlie knows he has a bit of this bookish perception, definitely someone who loves to use his words, coming from that law background, but he has made a name for himself as a cross-country runner. So he's hoping more so that that sort of mental attitude and fortitude will help him become an asset early on.
Okay. Um, Mike, does he say anything about whether or not he's going to reveal his lawyerness to people?
So he said that he was going to be, I believe he was going to coach it down a little bit, say that he's like not like a paralegal or anything, but not necessarily bring up. I don't think we're going full Katora and Julie. I don't even know what a lawyer is thing, but I think he's definitely not going to, almost Jake style,
Yeah.
talk down his involvement in the law profession.
What do you think about this? Is this next level? Instead of telling people you're a lawyer, what if you tell people you're a judge? Like, ooh, a judge. That's very honorable.
I mean, yes, but I feel like the
Do
meaning
judges
of the
make a lot of
word
money? Who knows?
the meaning of the word spans so much stuff, though, that, like, wouldn't you fear they'd render a bad verdict against you? I don't want to judge on the jury. They'll be my executioner.
I think I think that maybe that people would have to like defer to Your Honor. I think it could be good.
Do you think the judge
Haskell was a judge.
the judge should be like a tie-breaking vote? I think
Mhm.
they should come in
People,
with
I
that
think, would
advantage.
defer to you if you were a judge.
Exactly, like they are the ones, and maybe they would be the ones in game who like. Also, you could talk about it from an Olympics perspective. Do they rate the games every week?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Could I think give them like some kind of like a gavel, especially at the auction.
I don't know. I mean, for all we know, judges could already be dressed for the Survivor scene. Like, they might just be rocking the underwear out there and nothing else behind that big bench they sit behind.
Oh my god. Okay, Mike. Anything else about Charlie?
No, I'm excited for Charlie. Charlie is sort of like representing that young man dynamic. We don't have a lot of these types on this season. I think you and I, Rob, talked about this actually in our recap of Charlie's interview. Maybe the most normal person on this cast of just lovely wackadoos.
Yep. So far, but that's basically normal coming in. You don't know how they come out on Survivor.
That's absolutely true. 26 days in starvation can turn any normal person into quite the opposite.
Yes. Look what it did to us.
And I haven't even been on Survivor.
Yeah. Okay.
I woke up like this.
Mm-hmm. Who's
All right.
next, Mike?
Next up, an uncut gem, because my interview with her was uncut. It was Jamila Gem Hussein Adams. So Gem is 32, from Chicago. Rob, much like
Yep.
you will be in a few months' time. She is an international brand mentor. Gem's story, really interesting. So Gem spent nearly 20 years of her life, the first 20 years in Guyana, South America, in those jungles. So she is well adept for the environment of Survivor. She decided to move to the United States by herself, started off as like a seasonal associate in Victoria's Secret, and has worked her way up the corporate ladder to the point that now she is a brand mentor for those like her.
Yeah. She's got I think, a very good profile for the game.
Yeah, absolutely. She has a lot of experience with this environment, though she has said she actually wants to be more than a provider. She will not necessarily be that person to step up immediately and be pigeonholed into anything, because Gem is hungry for the game. And she is one of a couple players that, especially after seeing season 44, is very adamant, no idol sharing.
Mm-hmm. Gem, one of the people that applied with her husband, right?
Yeah, so there were a few people that either applied with their husband or like their partner is got them into the show and is a bigger fan of the show than them. And so now they are sort of representing them. There's a lot of really interesting Survivor origin stories with this group. I will say it's a bit more leaning towards the I found this during the pandemic crowd, which I love. as well. Let's not gatekeep as a fandom as much as we can. There are multiple ways to get into this show, and we will certainly see with some of the references that these players make. It does not matter when you came into Survivor. You can be just as nerdy as the rest of us.
Yeah. Okay. Got it, everybody? No gatekeeping.
All right, well, let's lift up the gate on our next contestant, Maria. Maria Shrime Gonzalez. Maria, at 48 years old, is this season's oldest
Mhm.
castaway. She is from Dallas, Texas, and she is a parent coach.
Okay. Should we have a bracket of all the 3 name survivors, Mike?
I mean, certainly better than the other 3-name bracket you did. I hope less potential for any of them to be serial killers.
Okay. She's a parent coach.
Yes, so she specifically is like an occupational therapist to assist parents. She is a mother of 3 herself, and she is someone who kind of found her way into this position. She started off as like a salsa dancer in her youth and was applying for Survivor for the first time like decades ago when she was in the height of that. Then sort of moved on from that, became a physical therapist, worked on Broadway, had 3 children, and decided to become a parent coach. And now it has officially come back around that she's on the island.
Yeah, I like these stories when people applied when they were like some time ago and then it came back around to work out for them.
I mean, doesn't that make you feel old though, Rob?
Mike, everything makes me feel old, okay?
That's valid nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
All
nice
right.
story.
Next up, we go from Maria to Mariah.
Maria.
But they are quite different, even though their names are similar. This is Mariah Gaynor. Mariah is 28 years old from San Diego, California, and she works as a program coordinator within the local government of San Diego.
What a great photo. Let's look at this. The sunlight catches Mariah.
My God, the windswept look.
Hmm.
Could you not go for anything like better here? This is incredible.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us about Mariah and the work she's doing in San Diego.
Yeah, so Mariah is Parks and Rec style, like taking ownership of those little victories along the way. She's someone who feasts on bureaucracy. She admits she's like a hyper
She
organized person.
feasts on it.
Yes, exactly. She devours it. One of her favorite things to say is like, I have made a Google sheet for that. But she's a complicated person because also contained within it is this like super creative resume, which has had her bouncing around a bunch of different locations, a bunch of different careers, finally finding herself in local government. She has a passion for a lot of things like fantasy literature, video games, Dungeons and Dragons. And so she hopes that she's going to have that accessibility while also hopefully undermining a bit of those experiential things she's learned from working in politics.
Yeah, I think she's pretty fun. Looking forward to seeing Mariah.
All right, let's spice up the Sega tribe with our last one. The guy who nicknames himself Spice to me, it is Tim Spicer. Tim is 31 years old from Atlanta, Georgia. He is a college coach, not a parent coach. That
Hmm.
works in a couple of different ways. So Tim both helps people get into college, but then also helps college kids remain in college, I should say, and keep their heads afloat in college, which makes sense because Tim is also an avid swimmer.
Okay. Yeah, and he's also a parent.
And he's also a parent as well. He's a parent of 2. Tim is a lot of fun. He has this like very kind of laid back attitude in the way that he talks, but he says a lot of really funny things, including on his bio. He has certainly also stood out amongst people responding to this preseason already. When he was asked the Survivor player that he would most play like, he responded, Shamar Thomas.
Mm,
This was
yeah.
also in response to the fact that he mentioned a couple of eye traumas that he experienced. So maybe this was just like a 1-for-1 comparison. Oh, I see myself in you if I could see properly.
If I could see, maybe does he just feel like that he's just gonna be like a big strong guy in the challenges? I mean, I feel like that Shamar was kind of like, oh, we need him for his strength.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tim is one of the physically strongest people here as well. I don't want to put the cart before the horse in terms of our assessment of him, but definitely looking like a leadership type. I think that's what his career brought about, and I think just coming in as a father, as a coach, I think it makes sense he'd fit into those pants easily on Sega.
Okay. All right. And that is the 6 members of the Sega tribe.
Yep. And so we're going to finish things off Rob, you thought you knew. It's Yanu.
Yanu. Okay.
Yanu, our purple tribe. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. We're floating in to talk about Yanu. And we're going to start talking about Yanu with Banu.
Oh, okay. Not touching it.
So this is Banu Gopal. Banu is 41 years old. He lives right now in Acton, Massachusetts, but he is originally from India, where he says that he grew up in some pretty squalid conditions, grew up under a thatched roof, grew up a lot on the street, but that has taught him that survivability and that tenacity and that communal aspect he hopes to bring to the beach as well.
Yeah, and so Banu comes in. He's another person that he has a partner who is more into the show, right?
Yeah, it's interesting, Rob. I can't think of another time. Is Banu the first contestant whose name rhymes with the tribe they're on?
Um, good question. Let's ask that to the hive mind of Survivor fans.
Yes, if all the poets out there, again, if that
Sam Hall,
department
we need you.
go into the annals of Survivor history, any players who rhymed with their tribe, because
Trying to
if
think,
I'm a
did I play with
producer,
anybody that his
oh wait,
name rhymes
I
with
back in register,
Combaki?
Jesse was on Vessi.
Yes. Okay.
So listen, if you want to get on the show, it's simple, people. Have your name happen to rhyme with a tribe that's going to be on this upcoming season.
Yeah. Do you think that they had the tribe name and they said, "Oh, this guy's name rhymes with one of the tribe," or do you think they had the guy and they said, "What if we? That's perfect. That rhymes with this guy."
Yeah, so you're sort of like saying which came first, the tribe name or the person?
Do they have a whiteboard with all the different potential tribe names?
I mean, I don't know if you need a whiteboard as much as you need like a Fijian to English dictionary at this point, where you just point at random words that are 2 syllables and say, yeah, that works well.
Okay.
So
Banu.
Banu is very sweet. Banu is a very sensitive soul, again, from his upbringing. He is someone who loves those human elements of Survivor. And we'll see if he's going to be able to bring that cutthroat aspect to it as well.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to Banu.
All right, let's move on to David, or as he'll be referred to on the show, Jelinski. We got a last namer here, Rob.
Okay, last name treatment for Jelinski, and he's got a really interesting backstory.
Yeah, so Jelinski is our youngest cast member of the season. He is 22 years old from Las Vegas, Nevada. And of course, when you're from Las Vegas, Nevada, there are only so many careers you can do, apparently. Jelinski is a slot machine salesman.
Okay, all right. We have not had that before.
No, we certainly have not. Vegas apparently is just the home of weird careers on Survivor, but Jelinski is hoping to score a jackpot right now.
Okay. Big fan is Jelinski.
Yeah, so Jelinski actually came in through Big Brother, interestingly enough, but then became
Relatable.
a really devoted fan of Survivor. Jelinski, even though he is young, he has lived a very storied life. This is a guy who is the child of 2 addicts and learned from a very early age that he had to be independent, that he had to sort of survive on his own to get what he needed. And so as a result, I think he's matured very quickly. And I'm not just talking about the register of his voice.
Okay, yeah. Looking forward to seeing how Jelinski plays. Is a young guy, but really knows his stuff.
All right, let's move on from Jelinski to Jess. Jess Chong. She's 37 years old from San Francisco, California, though she's originally from the hybrid of Toronto and Hong Kong, and she is a software engineer.
Okay. Jess is somebody who I think is another really fun personality on this cast.
Yeah, Jess is has this really, as she says, like, she describes herself as frivolous, but like she's trying to change that definition. Where the interview that I had with her was like kind of all over the place, but delightfully so. But her career kind of has as well. This is someone who has gone a lot of places, has done a lot of things, is the type of person to say, like, you can't tell me what to do. I will make a name for myself, which goes to show here she has a successful business marketing software for slideshows, I believe it is, which she struck off on doing on her own. And true to that.
Could she help us out with this slideshow?
Yeah, she definitely, just maybe give us the updo for future seasons after this. But she is also someone, interestingly, who comes in with this sort of moral code, this sense of like, she believes in what is right and wrong. And she's not going to explicitly tell people, hey, this person is wrong, let's get rid of them. But if she can push people in that direction, that's all the better.
Okay, so she is going to be trying to push like people out the door who violate the moral code.
I mean, maybe more so in a Ben like mosh pit way of like, I'm not personally doing this, but if we all move in this general direction and you happen to go out the door, sorry for you.
Okay, sorry for you. All right, that's Jess.
All right,
Who else
next
is
up,
next? Yes,
Kenzie. Kenzie Petty. And we'll see how many petty squabbles she gets into over the course of this season.
very
Probably
few,
not
I
a
bet.
lot because Kenzie is such a bright personality. As bright as the hair that she treats because she is a salon owner. She is 29 years old from Charlotte, North Carolina. One of the oddest origin stories I've ever heard for Survivor, which is she was during the pandemic getting toilet paper from her psychic who was in her apartment building, and the psychic had Survivor on in the background, which got her into the show,
She knew.
which then got her onto the show. So, yes, your mileage may vary as to whether psychics are real, but we'll see how predestined it is for Kenzie to do well here. Kenzie knows, she has that image of big tattoos all across her body, that there might be a little bit of this like kind of oddball persona projecting from her. But as someone who is a young woman, as someone who is a young entrepreneur, she's used to being underestimated. And she is much like we saw with a different hairdresser who won only a couple days before they went out to play. She's hoping to also utilize those social skills and that winning smile to hopefully win $1 million.
Yeah, do we think that there's a lot of concern on hairdressers now after Jam Jam won?
I mean, it wasn't the case for Kenzie. You think about so much stuff out there that I wouldn't be surprised if it crossed anyone's heads. But then, probably when you're thinking about so many other things, that might just go out the window.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. There's Kenzie.
All right. Final two, or should I say, final Q.
Yeah.
Q Quintavious, but Q for short, Burdette. And Rob, this is a first. The first Q contestant, Q named contestant in Survivor history. Q is no longer a non.
Yes. Okay. Not only first Q, but also is this the first one letter contestant that we have?
Yeah, I mean, from a like
I mean, I guess
marketed
it's a
perspective.
nickname.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I'm sure there are other people that have been nicknamed with just one letter, but Q is coming in there from the jump. It's easy to write down as well, which might work for or against him.
Yeah. Okay. Q has a interesting story also.
So Q is 29. He is currently in Memphis, but he is our other contestant from Mississippi. And him and Hunter were making eyes at each other throughout this
Okay.
preseason. We will get into it in our assessment. So Q is a former college athlete, so I think he's very used to the two-a-days, as you mentioned, Rob. But he segued into a job in real estate, where at one time, apparently, he was the number 2 selling real estate agent in the country.
Wow.
So Q is coming in with a lot of physical presence to him, obviously. A lot of, I would say not one-for-one experience, but Q is one of 17 children. That's basically like living a Survivor season daily in terms of quantity of people.
Yeah, that's probably really great practice.
I mean, maybe. I guess we'll have to ask him at the end of this Julie Chen Moonfest style, like, what's harder? Being one of 17 children or being one of 18 Survivor castaways? But he hopes to be the one at the end of it all. I had a really fun interview with Q. Q has this great energy about him, and he's got big plans, including his adamancy that at least 2 from his original tribe are making it to the final 4.
Okay. He's talking a big game, Q.
Last, but certainly not least, Tiffany Nicole Irvin. Tiffany is 33 years old. She is from Elizabeth, New Jersey, and she is an artist. And she is an artist because she used to do it on the side, and then someone told her, "You can't be an artist." And she said, "Watch me." And her work
Bet.
is in Madison Square frickin' Garden, Rob.
Wow. Okay. So there's Tiffany. How's Tiffany going to approach the game?
With so much mess. And I am so excited, Rob. In the course of my interview with her, Tiffany admitted that she has a lack of a filter, that she is a big gambler and a risk taker, that she is the luckiest person that she knows, but she has worked on her physical strength and she has this ability to be sociable and to be malleable that I think will hopefully have her lucky day be day 26.
Okay. All right. Well, Tiffany, another fun personality here, and that's 18 new friends.
18 new friends, though will they be friends by the end of it? Who's to say, Rob? That's for us to decide.
Okay. All right. So that's just the little appetizer of our 18 survivor castaways. We will begin tomorrow bringing you 2-a-days. And up first, we have Banu and Jelinski.
Yes, so we are going to start with the Yanu tribe, aka the tribe that we just finished with. So you'll be hearing my interviews with Banu and Jelinski. We're going in alphabetical order through each tribe. Again, those will be the uncut videos of me talking with them. And then in the audio version, in the podcast version, it'll also be Rob and I giving some quick, like 10 to 15-minute assessments on them.
Okay, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure you are subscribed to Rob as a podcast to get everything that we're doing in podcast form. That's at robaswebsite.com/subscribe. Or if you are watching us here on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get all of our videos. Mike, is that it? Is there anything else to do here today?
Well, we've got one more thing that is a bit adjacent, but I think why the hell not? Because, Rob, you and I have certainly had our mentions fill up in the past week. Back in the day, I think this was during the sort of like cold winter off season between Survivor 40 and Survivor 41, or maybe it was between 41 and 42. Paramount, when it officially like merged under CBS and Viacom, came up with these odd commercials about characters from various franchises wanting to climb Paramount Mountain.
Yes.
And one of the people featured was, of course, our love, Jeff Probst.
And not Phil Kogan.
Not Phil Kogan, as he has made a point to make several times over. So we should bring up that there has been another one that has really exploded in terms of going viral that Jeff has appeared in yet again. Now, I would say he's not necessarily the main character of this one. It's more so Rob, an actor that you and I both absolutely love, doing something maybe we don't love.
Okay, I have not watched this yet. So let's go ahead and let's take a little trip to Paramount Mountain. We may be seeing more of this coming up here as we head towards Super Bowl coverage. And so let's bring this up. Now, this I have to give some credit here from our friends over at Sonic the Hedge blog who had it because as they tell us, Knuckles appears in the new Paramount Plus Super Bowl commercial. Now, I was first excited because I thought that was Knuckles from Tough as Nails season 3.
Unfortunately,
I was like, finally, Tough as Nails representation on Paramount Mountain.
Would Phil be mad if he didn't make the cut, but Knuckles did? Does that feel like a half measure?
I think she was on season 2, maybe.
You know what they say, half measure twice, cut once.
Okay. All right. Here we go. And so let's go full frame here. And let's check out what's going on over here up on Paramount Mountain.
On Paramount Mountain, the stakes get...
So here we get first, I guess for the podcast people, here's Tua Tagovailoa. Tua.
Just call him Tua.
Listen, now Tua hates being out here in the cold, Mike.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the worst nightmare. You think they filmed this right after he lost in the playoffs of like, well, here's your consolation prize. Better keep that hat on. It's coming from Kansas City. You're going to need it.
All right, here's Tua.
Higher.
Jeff Probst looks on as we have like a group of who's here?
All right, so we've got
from left to right,
you
Mike.
Spoke her name 3 times and she's here. Peppa Pig,
who has been hanging out with Josh Allen.
Well, she's got a new boy toy now. It's Jeff Probst.
Okay,
she says, "Gal with the losers. I'm in with the winner right now." Arnold from Hey Arnold, which as a '90s kid I love, though I will not love by the end of this. Tua, Patrick Stewart, which Patrick, can I have your jacket? Patrick,
yeah,
Drew Barrymore, the aforementioned
that's not
Knuckles.
Kendra from Survivor 45.
What'd you say?
That's not Kendra from Survivor 45?
Oh, I wish. No, she had worms coming out of her mouth if it was Kendra. She'd be doing some sort of weird dance to keep warm on the mountain. We have Knuckles, I believe it's Lieutenant Dangle from Reno 911.
Yep.
Dora the Explorer, and of course, Master Chief from Halo.
From Halo. Okay. All right. I mean, this reads like a Brant Steel tribe.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't get that thing up there.
Yeah, Tua can't throw long.
No, absolutely not. He has to do checkdowns to Dangle to be able to get up the mountain.
Tua doesn't have the arm for this.
No, definitely not.
For football, I'd be able to reach the top.
What about a football-shaped head?
Too bad Family Guy is not on Paramount Mountain.
Why is that?
Well, Stewie Griffin, well-known football head.
I mean, I would much rather Patrick Stewart kill a child than kill a baby. Personally,
Yeah, Stewie's evil.
I mean, well, okay, is it altruistic to kill Stewie Griffin? I'll leave that up to the comments as well. But yeah, Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard could never. I know he broke, he broke first, he broke first contact. He broke, the laws of order many times across Starfleet. But this is perhaps,
and he knows a thing or two about Q also.
Yes, very much so. I think Patrick Stewart is an anti-Q person. He would loathe anyone who shows up with a Q name on Survivor. For years, actually, he said, "I will not watch this show if there's a Q name on it." And they wanted to keep him in their fan base.
Okay, make it so, Kim.
We throw the child.
Gutsy call, sir.
Smart thinking.
What? No, that's dumb thinking. He's not throwing Arnold.
Throw him.
Throw him.
Yeah, everybody is on board with throwing Arnold.
Except for Drew Barrymore. She draws the line, even though she crossed strike lines last year. That's the line that she draws.
Okay, what does Jeff Probst have to say?
Hey, do you want an immunity idol?
What? You can't throw.
Now, did Jeff ask Arnold if he wants an immunity idol?
I think he asked if he wants to play the immunity idol.
Wouldn't
that
he
feels
want
like cheating.
Maybe a hidden immunity idol.
I guess the question is, where is it hidden on that football head?
A child at a wall.
Barrymore, shut your face! Unless you prefer to freeze to death.
I'm not gonna throw a kid.
Not built for the moment, I see.
Oh, is this Mirror Universe, Picard?
I don't see a goatee on him, do you?
I guess
Where's
so.
the Terran insignia on his jacket?
Fine. I'll throw him.
Throw the child.
And Creed's here.
Okay. Why is Creed here?
Oh, do you imagine what he's going to play? There's only
No,
so many
I hear the
moves that
riff.
he'd be able to play.
Why is Creed on Paramount Mountain? I
mean,
know the
Patrick
Grammys
Stewart,
were
Kirk
on
Cousins,
CBS.
do they not look similar?
But does Creed have a show on Paramount Mountain?
Creed is the show on Paramount Mountain. That's where they live now.
I guess so.
Watch and learn.
Dang, he's cool.
It's the fifth quarter, and we need a hole-in-one before the seventh inning stretch. Be brave. Hike! Can you take me higher? To the place where I might see.
As Arnold.
I just threw him higher. Come on.
Jeff
To
the air
the place where we won't freeze.
He just threw me high.
Oh, Arnold did not clear the wall.
So close.
How are we going to get up there?
Now, if there were only someone made of pigskin.
Bingo.
Oh, dear.
I don't get. Who is this for?
I never thought in my life I would see Patrick Stewart yeeting a child to their death.
Why did Picard make a heel turn? I asked this in all sincerity.
But it's not Picard. Did you see the back of his jersey? It's Sir Patrick Stewart. I think he lost a bet. This is the biggest piece of character assassination I've seen in some time.
So that was not Picard. That was actually Patrick Stewart.
That was Sir Patrick Stewart.
Although
deciding...
Picard, he does not like children.
Oh, he would say, I'd throw that child down the turbo lift shaft if you sing Alouetta one more time. Shut up, Barrymore.
Okay.
So Jeff Probst continuing
Yeah.
to cash in those appearance fees on Paramount Mountain. Again, not the star.
I'll say of the 8 people there, he's the only one that belongs there.
How dare you? Patrick Stewart is a legend.
I guess so, but he's look.
What is Drew Barrymore doing there? What network is her show on?
I don't know. Is she and what is she from? Is it from her movies?
I think it'd be her show. Drew
don't
Barrymore show. Oh, it's on Paramount Plus.
I guess so.
Okay.
There you go. All right. We've lost the plot of Survivor 46.
I mean, I think Arnold did his best impression of Brandon from Survivor 45. He wasn't able to get to the top.
He needed a ladder.
He needed a ladder. Do you have the ladder? There, that's Ben, actually. Ben was probably shredding alongside Creed.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Arnold was wide open. Okay.
That's
right.
Tua's problem.
That's Tua's problem. All right. Mike, I know you have a lot of coverage coming up here on not Paramount Mountain, but parade.com.
I have my own mountain that I'm amassing at this point. Actually, right now, as we're speaking, I just came out with a new article.
What? No,
I
how is
asked
that? That was impossible. You were right here the whole time.
I'm part of the queue myself, mon ami. Snap. I, of course, asked these contestants a lot of the questions to get their similar responses. One of them I asked was, what is your hottest Survivor take? And so right now at parade.com, you can see the vast majority of their answers. True to how these contestants wrote their bios, they run the gamut from controversial to sometimes flat out weird, which I absolutely adore. So you can check that out. But much like the 2-a-days are happening in podcast and in audio form, they're also happening in written form. I am doing what I have been doing throughout the new era. Starting tomorrow, every day, an interview at 1 and an interview at 10, I should say, and an interview at 2 p.m. are going to release over at parade.com. I'll be starting with Nami, and I'll basically be going in the order of the slideshow today. So I'll be starting with Hunter and Liz. That way you can sort of like catch up from both ends. You have Rob and I starting with Yanu and working our way backwards. And then I'll be starting in written form with Nami and working forwards. We'll meet in the middle with Siga, and then we'll sort of last 5 years pass each other into the night. So you can check out all that stuff. I'll do some other roundup interviews as well. I'll be talking with Jeff. And once we actually get to the episode itself, I'm sure I'll have a lot of insights to offer as someone who got to be there for the first few days. Very excited for that. If I could tease anything, I will say I'm very intrigued as to how they'll edit the opening Matt chat, because I think it fits this cast very well.
Okay.
The Tribal Council set is incredible, and there's going to be a lot of fun stuff to watch. And once that episode airs, I also got to talk with Jeff right after Tribal Council about everything that happened there and the first few days. So there's a lot of great stuff. I have to give a huge shout out to CBS for allowing me to go out there, for these contestants, for letting me talk with them, to them, at them for up to half an hour at a time. And to you, Rob, for providing quite literally the resources for me to go out there to capture these contestants and bring home, hopefully, some content that everyone will get to enjoy for the next month.
Okay. Well, Mike, great job. Can't wait to get started seeing everything you brought back from Fiji. And so be on the lookout for all that. Follow a Mike Bloom type on Twitter. And then make sure you're subscribed here for everything Rob Has a Podcast. We got a lot of stuff coming up here in the next couple of days. Plus, we've got some more traders stuff coming up here on Monday, as we're going to be chatting, talking some traders later on Monday with Challenge legend, maybe of Paramount Mountain hopeful, Wes Bergman, and his amazing wife, Amanda. That's going to be coming up later on Monday. Puya and I have a traders feedback show for you coming up. Make sure you don't miss that one. And then, Mike, anything else?
Yeah, so of course you can check out the stuff I'm doing on Pusher Recaps as well, going strong there with True Detective, where things are just as snowy and just as uncanny valley as Paramount Mountain. And then Also, before you know it, if this is like the last time you're chancing into the preseason before the actual Survivor 46 starts, Liana and I will be back to our usual shenanigans. We'll do a preseason B&B. Can't wait to hear Liana's thoughts, to see the draft. I'm excited to start this preseason machine back up again. Rob, we have a group of contestants to get introduced to make assessments of, and to be probably completely wrong about as soon as their feet hit the sand.
Okay. All right, Mike. Great job getting it all started here today. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.